All right. Good afternoon. It's a little bit after 3, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Because the sooner we get going, the sooner we get to honor and recognize Ryan. So my name is Kyle Roberts, and I'm serving as the Master of Ceremony today for the Eagle Court of Honor honoring Ryan Gilbertson. Welcome to all the friends and family of Ryan joining us today, as well as those people that are joining us through technology. This ceremony allows us to share this special moment with Ryan's friends and family, both near and far. So thank you everyone for joining us. We have gathered here at this Court of Honor to witness Troop 1 Life Scout Ryan Gilbertson ascend to the rank of Eagle Scout. Eagle Scout is the highest achievement or rank attainable in the Scouts BSA program of the Boy Scouts of America. Since its inception in 1911, only about 4% of Scouts have earned this rank. We'd like to extend a gracious thank you to all of you for your presence today and for your ongoing support of Ryan along his path to Eagle Scout. Let's begin with the opening ceremony. James, would you please come to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. You may be seated.
Thank you, James. Will Ryan's dad please escort Life Scout Ryan Gilbertson to the front? By the power invested in me by the National Council of the Boy Scouts of America, I do hereby declare this Court of Honor open with the sole purpose of recognizing and awarding Ryan Gilbertson as Eagle Scout. A scout must spend a great deal of time and effort to earn the highest rank in scouting. Therefore, the occasion that recognizes his accomplishments should be memorable. In honor of this occasion, we shall light candles to recognize and remember Ryan's accomplishments along his path to Eagle. Ryan crossed over into Troop 1 from Cub Scout Pack 143 in February of 2020, and so began to transition from adult-led Cub Scout activities to youth-led outdoor adventures. Because the spirit of scouting embodies the principles of the Scout Oath and Scout Law, it becomes a shining beacon of inspiration. We use a single lighted candle to represent that spirit.
Alone, this light may seem feeble, but when multiplied by the more than 3.5 million youth in scouting around the world, it is powerful indeed. After a youth enters scouting, the scout law that he promises to obey begins to guide his life. In the distance looms the hazy outlines of the Eagle Summit, flanked by the lesser peaks that represent the star and life ranks. To the new scout, they are very far away, but they will become a lot closer as the light from the spirit of scouting continues to spread. At this time, I ask scouts from Troop 1 to come forward, each representing one of the scout ranks. These Troop 1 scouts will help us recall how the light of the spirit of scouting has spread along Ryan's path to the Eagle Summit, starting with his first rank as a scout. The scout rank is earned by understanding and promising to live by the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Scouts learn to repeat from memory the Scout motto, slogan, salute, and the handshake, and understand the significance of the Scout badge. Ryan earned his Scout rank in April of 2020. As a scout, our candidates for Tenderfoot Scout are active in the troop and their patrols. They participate in campouts and learn about outdoor cooking, tools, first aid, and fitness. They also demonstrate citizenship, leadership, and the scout spirit. Ryan became a Tenderfoot Scout in July of 2020. The requirements for second class become more difficult. While remaining active in the troop and showing scout spirit, a second class scout must learn to be self-sufficient in the outdoors and continue to render service to others. They learn to plan nutritious meals and to cook in the outdoors. They also learn to navigate through and to appreciate wildlife and the natural environment. Ryan became a second class scout in January of 2021. Our candidates for First Class Scout were active in their troop and patrols and showed scout spirit. They earned their camping, cooking, first aid merit badges. They completed the swim test and demonstrated the use of lashings to make camp structures. They also learned about route planning, nature, extreme weather, and emergency preparedness. Ryan became a First Class Scout in June of 2021. As Star Scouts, for at least 4 months, our candidates for Star Scout were active and showed scout spirit in their troop and patrols. They earned 6 more merit badges, 4 of which are from the required list for Eagle Scouts. They completed service projects of at least 6 hours, and they also served for 6 months or more in leadership positions in their troop. Ryan became a Star Scout in October of 2021. Continuing along the Scout Trail, our candidates for Life Scout were active as Star Scouts for at least 6 months and showed Scout spirit, service, and leadership. They earned 5 more merit badges, 3 of which were from the required list from Eagle. Ryan became a Life Scout in April of 2022. To attain the highest rank in Scouting, our candidates were active in their troop and their patrols for at least 6 months, showing Scouting spirit and leadership. They earned 10 more merit badges for a total of 21, 13 of which were required for Eagle. They planned, developed, and gave leadership to a service project which was helpful to their school, religious institution, or community. Ryan worked with the Great Falls Public Schools to build 6 footbenches for classroom tables. The footbenches were designed by one of the physical therapists in the school district to allow smaller kids at bigger tables to have their feet properly positioned. Ryan chose this project as a way to help promote better learning by providing a foundation for better seating and positioning. Ryan passed his district board of review for his Eagle Scout rank on November 8, 2022.
Ryan, it gets to be your turn. Will you please step forward, and you get to light the final candle representing the breath of light that is the spirit of Scouting. Thanks to all the Troop 1 Scouts for helping us to light Ryan's path to Eagle Scout. In addition to ranks that can be earned in Scouts, there are other recognitions as well. The Order of the Arrow is the National Honor Society of the Boy Scouts of America and is composed of Scouts and Scouters who best exemplify the Scout Oath and Scout Law in their daily lives as elected by their peers. Those that are elected into the Order of the Arrow are recognized by receiving an Order of the Arrow sash. Ryan was inducted into the Order of the Arrow and became an Ordeal member in 2022. All right, and now we would like to share a slideshow highlighting Ryan's adventures through Scouting.
I started out down a dirty road. Started out all alone. The sun went down as I crossed the hill. The town lit up. The road got still. Birds fly, but I got wings. Coming down.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
All right. I'd like to invite up Ryan's mom, Amy Gilbertson, to say a few words.
I have to find it. It's underneath here. I know it is. 10 years. That's a long time, and we've had so many amazing adventures. So I'm so proud of Ryan for accomplishing his Eagle Scout rank. Thank you all for joining us today and helping him celebrate this wonderful achievement. As you saw from the video, Ryan has had so many adventures over the past 10 years. There was a very brief point in time where I didn't think Ryan would get here, though. Imagine this, first grade. Kyle had been a Cub Scout for several years by this point, and Ryan had tagged along on every fun adventure. He had already attended summer pool parties, had gotten his picture taken with the Harlem Globetrotters, and had even taken home a trophy in the Masters division at the Pinewood Derby. Hey, Ryan, you can officially become a Cub Scout this year. What do you think about that? His reply, no, thank you. Yep, kind of caught us off guard, a little unexpected. But that's when Randy and I tried a different approach, signed him up anyways, and told him that it was important for him to be part of something bigger than himself. His response, okay, I can do that. That's when he recruited a bunch of his friends to be Cub Scouts with him, and all was right with the world again. Randy was Ryan's den leader through Cub Scouts. He and Amber Pinsky planned activities for each of their den meetings and then tried to burn off all of the extra energy that the boys had at the time. For the next 5 years, Ryan soaked up everything that was Cub Scouts. Throwing candy from a flatbed trailer during the Black Eagle 4th of July parade was a blast. Earning so many belt loops that they didn't fit on his teeny tiny little belt was a piece of cake. STEM activities were interesting and fun. Picking a new design for his Pinewood Derby cars each year was a fun challenge too. In case any of you were wondering, most of his boats and cars are some variation of red, green, or purple, because the Minnesota Wild was his favorite NHL hockey team and the Minnesota Vikings were his favorite football team. Next came the transition into Boy Scouts. This seemed pretty easy for Ryan. Kyle was there to help him with knowing where he needed to be and what he needed to bring. Ryan was excited to be able to share scouting with his brother again and excited to experience the novelty of merit badges. Ryan had his first merit badge college under his belt, and then everything kind of changed. With most things being scaled back from being in person and transitioning to being remote, different opportunities opened up for Ryan in scouting. Our memories of his first year are probably a little bit different. I would like to say that he jumped right into online merit badges because he was really interested in them, but he would probably say that he was pushed a bit because I found them and he needed something to do. Regardless, the online opportunities from across the country allowed Ryan to continue to move forward. Eventually, things started to open up again. Restrictions were still in place, but Troop 1 was slowly figuring out how to participate and get the most out of each opportunity. Meetings were scheduled in person and Troop 1 got back to their outdoor activities. There were still limitations, though. Ryan's first summer camp was with masks, a 2-week temperature log prior to camp, and separated pods just in case individualized tracking was necessary. Everyone in their pod worked on the same merit badges because that's kind of how it needed to be at the time. Fast forward to fall that year, and camping was reintroduced. It looked different than previous years, too, because of distancing and restrictions, but our troop was committed to figuring out how to make it work. Most people that know Ryan and Kyle know that neither one of them is keen on camping in the cold. Normally, neither would have been excited about sleeping outside in the cold and snow, but all of a sudden, both were looking forward to Troop 1's winter survival. It was the first time in a year that limits were set by the imagination and nothing else. When everything else in his world was socially distanced, Ryan and 5 others that weekend built what they referred to as Motel 6, with tarps and tree branches. 6 scouts squeezed into Motel 6 to keep warm, and I'm sure they probably didn't sleep a whole lot that night anyways. That's camaraderie right there. It's too bad that Ryan's shoe didn't spend the night at Motel 6 as well. I heard that the next morning it was pretty frozen. Not leaving a shoe out in the cold is one of the many life lessons that Ryan has learned in scouting. As a parent, I love seeing the growth and maturity that Ryan has gained from his scouting experiences. I enjoy seeing the friendships extend outside of Troop 1 and outside of scouting events. Although I know the journey hasn't always been easy, figuring out a new way to move forward when everything else stood still, I admire Ryan's ability to figure it out. Sometimes the efforts fell a little short, like making pink lemonade at the troop Christmas party in December, right? But the effort is still there. Ryan has learned how to be a leader and has learned flexibility when things don't go as planned. He has taught me so much, and I am so incredibly proud of his achievement.
Thank you, Amy. I have to say, and it's not in my little script here, but when you were talking about Ryan's voyage, and obviously everything did change in 2020, and I just have to say, obviously I was the scoutmaster in the troop at that time, and COVID threw loops into everything, but I don't know if I could have pictured a scout coming out of that with more flying colors than Ryan did. Not just the merit badges, which obviously he earned a ton of during that time, but also lessons and spirit and whatnot. And Ryan, I did not know that you didn't want to join Cub Scouts right at first, but I'm glad that you did, because as we looked through the slideshow, otherwise I realize there's been a lot of adventures, but you would have missed the helicopter trip, which for those of you that weren't there was amazing. Okay. The dictionary describes an eagle as a large bird of prey with sharp vision and powerful wings, famous for their strength, size, grace, and keen vision. Though eagles are found throughout the world, they are not found in abundance. Eagles are always a rare and superb specimen. In scouting, the eagle stands for strength of character. The eagle stands for knowledge of all phases of scouting. The eagle represents an understanding of and a deep respect for community and nation. The eagle is a leader. The eagle is respected both by his peers and by his adult leaders. Eagle Scout candidate Ryan Gilbertson, please rise. I have the honor to give you the Eagle Charge on the occasion of your elevation to the highest rank in scouting. The Boy Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant influences in the world's history. You have been counted worthy of this high rank in the Boy Scouts of America. Your responsibility goes beyond your fellow Scouts. It extends to your God and your country. America has many fine things to offer you and your children after you, but these good things depend, for the most part, on the quality of her citizens. Our country has a great past. You can help make the future still greater. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with solemn dedication. Be a leader, but lead only towards the best. Lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the high level of service to your fellow men. So live and serve that those who know you will be inspired to the finest living. We have too many who use their strength and their brains to exploit others and gain selfish ends. I charge you to be among those who dedicate their hearts and hands to the common good. Build America on the solid foundations of clean living, honest work, and unselfish citizenship. Then, whatever others do, you will leave behind you a record of which you may be justly proud. Eagle candidate Ryan, I charge you to enter this Eagle Scout brotherhood holding before you the ideals of honor and service. By repetition of the Eagle Scout promise before your fellow members, you become an Eagle Scout. Though the words you will use will be similar to those by which you joined scouting, tonight they will mean more than they could have meant at any time in the past. When you pledge yourself on your sacred honor, you will be sealing your eternal loyalty to the code of the Eagle Scout with the words which closed the Declaration of Independence. Will all Eagle Scouts present please stand? Fellow Eagle Scouts, as Ryan receives the Eagle Charge, please join him in repeating and reaffirming your own pledge. Scout signs. Repeat after me. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make by training and example my rank and my influence count strongly for better citizenship in my troop, in my church, and in my community, and in my contacts with other people. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. Two. Thank you. You may be seated. Will Ryan's parents, Randy and Amy Gilbertson, please join us and stand by Ryan? Ryan, it's time. Please pin the mother's pin onto your mom. Ryan, now you get to pin your father's pin onto your dad. Mrs. Gilbertson, you may pin the Eagle Medal on Ryan. And Mr. Gilbertson, please present Ryan with his Eagle Scout neckerchief. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present our newest Eagle Scout, Ryan Gilbertson. Amy and Randy, thank you, and you may head back to your seats. We are also pleased to have representatives from the Marine Corps League of Great Falls here to recognize Ryan. I'd like to introduce Gene Benner, representing the Marine Corps League.
Good afternoon. As we all know, pre-eminent 300 emblem of Boy Scouts of America is the eagle. Symbolizes its highest rank, that of the Eagle Scout. 300 emblem of the United States Marine Corps I'm holding in my hand. It also includes the same symbol, eagle, top of the globe of the world, with an anchor indicating the Marine Corps' relationship to the U.S. Navy. So little wonder then, the Marine Corps League has established a program nationwide that acknowledges the achievement of the Eagle Scout status because that status embodies two basic Marine Corps principles, honor and commitment. So we're pleased this afternoon to present this Marine Corps League Certificate of Achievement to Eagle Scout Ryan Gilbertson. Honor, hard-earned, it's hard to kept, never surrender. If I could get you all to stand, Don and Will read the inscription on the certificate.
Great Falls Detachment Number 688, Marine Corps League. Order of Honor is awarded to Brian Joseph Gilbertson for exemplifying the U.S. Marine Corps values of honor and commitment by the achievement of Eagle Scout status in the Boy Scouts of America. Court of Honor, January 14, 2023. Ed Olson, Commandant. Order of Review, November 8, 2022. Edward Wilson? Olson. Sorry about that. Congratulations.
Okay, you may be seated. Thank you very much.
And thank you to the Marine Corps League for honoring Ryan with the certificate. And now I get to step away from the podium a bit. Ryan, it gets to be your turn. You get to come up and say a few words.
My scouting journey started when one day my dad asked if I wanted to join Scouts just like my brother. I thought it was a good idea. I was going to be a Tiger in Pack 143 and I was super excited to start. My favorite memories from my early years in Scouts were always the Pine Road Derby races. Even before I was a Scout, I entered in the Masters division because I wasn't old enough to race with the other boys, but still wanted to participate. Every year, I made a new car with the help of my dad, and it was always super fun. After a couple years in Cub Scouts, I finally got to where everyone wanted to be. I was a bear. Once you became a bear, everyone knew that you could now have and use a pocket knife. It was the coolest thing ever. When you became a Weeblo, though, that's when the real fun began because you got to go to summer camp. My first and second Cub Scout summer camps as a Weeblo were both at Caber Rim out of Lewistown. It was some of the funnest times I've ever had. From being scared of failing the swim test to seeing a tent fly and get stuck in a tree, I experienced a lot of crazy things and had a lot of fun. After our last summer camp, I was pretty skeptical about moving up to Boy Scouts, though. Boy Scouts seemed way more complicated than Cub Scouts, and I didn't know if I was going to fit in or not. I crossed over into Boy Scouts after earning my Air of Light in January of 2022. I was finally in Troop 1. I learned very early on that Boy Scouts was nothing like Cub Scouts ever was. Instead of everyone working on the same thing at the same time, you got to pick and choose whatever merit badges you wanted to do and whenever you wanted to do them. The rank side of things was also a little different. The time it took me to earn them depended on me and my motivation, not anyone else. I knew I wanted to get my Eagle, so I made that my goal and worked hard to get there. So far, I have earned 52 merit badges. As I attend additional Scout activities and summer camps, that number will increase. I crossed over into Boy Scouts just before COVID started. With COVID and all of its unknowns, scouting became extremely difficult and very different. Our meetings were online and all of our outdoor activities and planned events were all canceled. After searching around for a while, my mom made a big discovery though. She found online merit badge opportunities all over the country. It's those online opportunities that have accounted for many of the merit badges that I have today. My schoolwork was at an all-time low during that time, and scouting gave me something to do. I would pick from the list that my mom would show me, and I would sit down on a class and get a merit badge that I thought was interesting done. I would join other scouts from all over the U.S. and be part of interesting conversations. Out of all the merit badges I have earned, my favorite was shotgun shooting. It was my first time ever shooting a gun with that kind of kick, and the fact that I was really good at it just made it super fun. My least favorite was probably personal management because it took a long time to complete and the content was a little dry at times. Although budgeting is a great life skill, it's not as fun as shooting guns and arrows or lighting fires. My favorite memory in Scouts was definitely this last year's summer camp at Melita Island on Flathead Lake. It was just an overall fun experience. From stargazing at 12 at night to fishing at 5 in the morning, we did a lot. I got to snorkel for the first time, which was fun, even though the water was super cold. Scouts has taught me that being with your friends while camping and doing other fun things is such a good way to spend your time. Without Scouts, I do not think I would be the person I am today with all of the things I have accomplished. I would now like to take this time to honor several people that have helped me on this journey. 2 weren't able to be here today, but I would still like to recognize their efforts and dedication to helping me grow. My first mentor pin is for Jess Vandal. Mr. Vandal was one of my Scoutmasters in Troop 1 that I believed helped me the most in my scouting career. Anytime I was at an event, meeting, or outing, he was always there. He always had something funny to bring to a conversation, but could also be serious when it was needed. My second mentor pin is for David Mansfield. David was one of my senior patrol leaders from Troop 1. I think David is a great role model and overall such a good person. He did so much for not only me, but for our troop as a whole. My next mentor pin goes to Kyle Gilbertson. As my older brother, Kyle was basically the guinea pig of Scouts in our family. Sure, my dad was in Scouts, but so much has changed since then. Kyle would try things and we would learn from his mistakes. He helped me because I didn't quite know what to do. He has always been fun to hang around and do things with at camps, meetings, and events. My last mentor pin is for Kyle Roberts. Mr. Roberts was my first Scoutmaster in Troop 1. He introduced me to frozen yogurt at Schulte's during my Scoutmaster conferences. He has always been willing to sit down and talk about what was needed or about interesting adventures and stories. He took me on my first backpacking trip, which was so knowledgeable and teaching me what I needed to know for the trip. Thank you all for coming today and helping me celebrate my Eagle Scout rank.
It's all right. Ryan's just got to do it his own way. Oh. Short and sweet. Ryan's get in, get out. Okay. It's all good. Well, so we've had the ceremony, we've had the slideshow, we've had speakers. This actually brings to a close our Court of Honor. So thank you all for joining together today to honor Ryan with his accomplishment. And just like I opened the Court of Honor, I now need to close the Court of Honor. So by the power vested in me by the National Council, I hereby declare this Court of Honor closed. So thank you all for coming. And Mrs. Gilbertson, we have refreshments in the back. So before you leave, please don't forget to go and get all the stuff we have back there. So thank you again, everyone. And once again, congratulations, Ryan.